tutorial, I want to go ahead and tell you up front, before I actually do the tutorial, make sure that you watch the tutorial all the way through before you start cutting and gluing everything down, because I did have a little mess up in here, and I'm going to show you what I did. Okay, so this is the finished album. Okay, so you know, it's pretty nice. I have to say, it's so super cute, and I love it. Alright, so here's my seam binding closure, and here what I've done is I just added a little pocket here to the front. You know, that's totally optional. A lot of people, you know, decorate their fronts different, but on mine I just added a little pocket here. So that part is not in the tutorial. Okay, when you open up the album, there we go, zoom it out a little bit. Okay, when I done the tutorial, I wanted my two little sections here to go on the inside, but I messed up and I didn't leave enough space here, so it closes like this, and then my two flaps here are on top, and then it closes. But I gotta tell y'all something, I'm kind of glad that I messed it up, because I like the way that it turned out here. You see, you know, this album is kind of full here, and if my two little flaps here were on the inside, it may not have closed, you know, like I wanted it to anyway. So my mess up actually worked out. But again, make sure that you watch the video, the tutorial video here, all the way through before you do make this. Okay, and these little pockets here, I don't show these in the tutorial either, because all it is, it's a cut apart, and then I've just glued it on 3 sides here. Okay, and that just made my little pocket. Alright, so I hope y'all enjoyed this little album, and I want to thank everybody so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. And I have to tell you, I'm so super happy with the way this turned out, and I hope you all like it as well. And I want to thank everybody so much for watching, and let's get the tutorial started. Alright, thanks so much. Okay, y'all, so to get started creating this album, what you're going to need 3 pieces that are 4x6. Okay, and I'm not going to be able to get all of this in camera, so just kind of, you know, bear with me. But you're going to need 3 pieces of 4x6. You're going to need 2 pieces of 2x4. Alright. These are medium weight chipboard. Alright, so now I'm going to get my cardstock. And for my cardstock, I need 3 pieces that are 6 by 8.5. Okay, I have 3 of those. And you see here, I already have 1/4 inch tape on 2 of these. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scoreboard, and I'm only using my scoreboard to line these up. Alright, so I'm going to take one of these pieces with the tape. I'm going to peel the backing off. Alright, I'm going to line it up at the 6 1/4. That way I know that my next piece needs to go at the 6. Alright, so I'm just holding it up with my thumb here. Alright, when I have it at the 6 and where I want it, I'm just going to drop it. Okay, press it down. I'm going to burnish it. Alright, now I'm going to move it over. Take the backing off of this one. And again, I'm going to place it at the 6 1/4. Okay, then I'm going to take my last piece here. Uh-oh, don't stick. There we go. Alright, I'm going to butt it up against the top here. Alright, I'm going to the 6. Alright, I'm going to drop it. Press it down. Okay, so now we have one long piece here. Alright, now I have 2 seams here. So what I'm going to do is, first off, I'm going to dry fit it. Alright, I'm going to put a 2x4 on that seam, 2x4 on that seam. Okay, then I'm going to take my 4x6 on each end, and right now I'm just kind of laying it out. Okay, but now I'm going to take my 4x6 here in the center. That way I'll know about where I'm going to place everything. Okay, and I'm going to leave almost 1/4 inch spacing between each one. It's not going to be a full 1/4 inch. Okay, so now this is what it's going to look like. Alright, so you're going to have a 4x6, 2x4, 4x6, 2x4, and 4x6. Alright, I'm going to glue this down, and I'm going to do that off of camera, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so now that I have my chipboard adhered to my cardstock, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my bond folder, not my bone folder, gosh, you can use your bone folder or your little stylus here, and I'm just going to use my stylus, okay, and I'm just going to go around the edges all the way around of my chipboard here, okay, and then I'm going to fold it up. Alright, so I'm going to press my cardstock up against my chipboard, fold it up on this side. Alright, I'm going to fold it up on this side. Then I'm going to take it and just kind of stand it up, and I'm going to fold over this top part here. Alright, and then I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to fold down that top part. Okay, now I'm going to take my scissors, and I'm just going to cut off these little squares on each corner here. Okay, and when you do this, now you want to make sure that you don't go all the way to your chipboard. Okay, so see here? There's a little bit of space there in between the chipboard and the cardstock. Okay, so I'm going to cut all 4 of my corners off, and then I'm going to add tape. And I'm going to add my score tape on my chipboard as well as on my cardstock. Okay, so you see here, I now have all 4 corners cut off, and then I have my score tape on. I did not run score tape along the top and the bottom of my chipboard because I think, you know, once I wrap it, it's going to be fine. So, you know, I did just do it on my chipboard going long ways here and not on the top and bottom. But I did add an extra piece on each of the inside of my pieces here. And what that's going to do is that's going to help with whenever I put my next layer of cardstock on and then I fold it, it's not going to bubble so much. Okay, so now I'm going to take the backing off of all this, and then we're going to wrap it. Okay, now all of my tape is peeled off. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my art glitter glue with the fine metal tip. Alright, and I'm just going to go along the top of my chipboard here. Okay, and then I'm going to go up my cardstock. All in the center. Okay, now I'm going to take my bone folder, and this is definitely not going to all be on camera, but I'm just going to press that cardstock up against that chipboard. Okay, now I'm going to start here in the center. Okay, and I'm just going to spread my fingers out as far as I can get them. Then I'm just going to pull this down. Okay, and I'm just going to work it on both sides here. Now I'm going to take my bone folder, press it down. Okay, I'm going to turn it around. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to add my art glitter glue right on top of that chipboard. Okay, up the cardstock, along the top, and all in the middle. Okay, now this time I'm just going to fold it up like this instead of taking my bone folder, because this is basically going to do the same thing. Alright, I'm going to spread my fingers out, pull all this down, and I'm just going to work it to the sides here. Okay, you see I have this glue coming out here. That's no big deal. Look, wipe it off. Take your bone folder, press it down. Okay, now I'm going to do my sides. For my sides, I'm going to take the tip of my bone folder. I'm just going to pull this in. Push this up. Turn it around. Just going to take and fold it in and push it up there. And what that's going to do is it's going to give you a nice clean corner. Alright, run my glue along the edge, all in the center. Take my bone folder and push that cardstock up against that chipboard, flatten it out there. Take my bone folder, press it down. And again, y'all see that glue? No big deal, just wipe it off. And if you're going to use the art glitter glue, it will dry clear. Alright, I'm going to turn it over, do the same thing on this side. Add my glue. Take my bone folder and press it down. Okay. Take the bone folder and squish it down there. That glue's coming out, no big deal. Alright, now to wrap the inside of the album, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece that is 3 3/4 by 5 1/2, and you see I've added 1/4 inch score tape to both sides of this small piece here. Then I'm going to need 2 pieces that are 3 3/4 by 8 1/2. Alright, 2 long pieces, 1 short piece. Okay, I'm going to sit this to the side. I'm going to take my scoreboard again. Okay, now I'm going to take my smaller piece here. I'm going to peel the backing off of one side. Okay, now this time I'm just going to take it on the 6 1/4. I'm butting it up against the top here. Okay, this is all I'm doing, y'all, is I'm using my scoreboard just to line up my papers. Alright, so I'm going to take it to the 6 1/4, take a long piece, take it to the 6, drop it. Okay, take my bone folder, press it down. Now I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to peel the backing off of this side of my score tape. Again, I'm going to go to the 6 1/4. I'm going to take my long piece. I'm going to place it at a 6, drop it. Okay, and now we have, I apologize for the noise, y'all, but now we have this long piece here. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere this piece of cardstock to my album. Alright, so I'm going to take my score tape or ATG tape, whatever you want to use. I'm going to go along the edge all the way around. Then I'm going to add my glue, and then I'm going to adhere it right on top. Alright, so it's going to look just like this. Alright, I'm going to do that, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so now that the outside and the inside are covered, okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and hold it on the left hand side here. I'm going to take my bone folder, and I'm just going to press really, really well here. And then you'll see your seam or your crease, you know, whatever you want to call this thing, but you'll see it start to form. So then you just kind of press and bend at the same time. Alright, I'm going to do it here as well. Okay, so we have that side. Now I'm going to turn it around. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm holding it with my left hand. I'm going to work my bone folder here, and then whenever I see that crease start, I just start burnishing it down here. Okay, and then I'm going to do it again. Alright, see that crease? So I'm just going to work that crease, and now this is what you have. Okay, okay, so now we're going to work on the inside. So for the inside, you're going to need 8 pieces that are 3 3/4 by 11. On your 11-inch side, you're going to score at a half and at 6 1/4. Okay, that's on your 11-inch side. Okay, and you're going to need 8 of these. Alright, then you're going to need 3 pieces that are 3 3/4 by 8. On your 8-inch side, you're going to score at a half, 7/8, and 6 5/8. Okay, and you're going to need 3 of these. And what I've done is I went ahead and punched the edge of mine here on the side. So this is what mine looks like. And this is a Martha Stewart punch. And I don't really know the name of it. I'm assuming it's snowflakes. And let's see. Okay, so I've already got all of mine done. And I've already got everything scored. Alright, so you're going to take your 3 3/4 by 8. You're going to fold down and burnish on each of your score lines. Alright, this one is going to have like a lip. And then you're going to take this little flap and fold it back up this way. Alright, we're going to glue this down and make a pocket. But I'm going to add everything to my album first. And then I'm going to need a piece of design paper here before I make this a pocket. Alright, so I'm going to take 2 of my pieces that are 3 3/4 by 8. Okay, and I'm going to put them here on the center section. And I want to tell you, okay, I've decided that the left hand flap here is going to be my top of the top of my album. Alright, so I'm not going to do anything to this side. Okay, I'm only working on the middle and the right hand side as well as my 2 spines. I'm not going to mess with the left hand flap here. Okay, so right now I'm going to work on the center. Like I said, you're going to take 2 of your pieces that are 3 3/4 by 8. Okay, I'm going to take my art glitter. Ow, God, I just stabbed myself in the finger. Lord help. Okay, I apologize. Okay, so now I'm going to take my art glitter glue with the fine metal tip, and I'm just going to add it to this 1/2 inch piece here. Okay, do not add glue to this piece. Alright, don't add your glue here, only here. Okay, so I'm just going to add my glue. Okay, and I'm going to bend this up so I can see it. Alright, so you see here, I have my seam. I do not want to go over that seam, but I do want to get pretty close to it. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and just lay this flat here. Alright, I'm going to move it closer to me so I can see. Okay, when I have it where I want it, I'm going to press it down. Alright, I'm going to open it up, press it down, wipe that glue off. That glue's going to dry clear, y'all, so it really doesn't matter. Okay, but let me make sure I didn't go over. Yep, perfect. See here, I did not go over my seam, but I'm right there at it. Alright, now I'm going to open that up, and I'm going to add one to this side. So now I want to close up this side so I know where this seam is. I'm going to take another one. I'm going to add my glue to this 1/2 inch piece. Alright, same thing. I'm not going to go all the way to the edge, but I'm going to go pretty close. Okay, and for this, I want to make sure that I'm lined up so my two pieces are the same. So I'm going to close this one down here, and I'm just going to hold this down. Okay. Oh, Lordy. Let me open that up. Alright. And now I want to make sure now I don't go over that seam. Now let me make sure everything is lined up before I press down. Okay, when you have it where you want it, press it down. Okay, I'm going to open it up. You see here I got some glue on this one. It's no big deal, just wipe it off. Alright, so now I have, these are going to be my two closures. Okay, and that's why they have the extra score here. Okay, because once I put these other ones in, this is how it's going to be. Alright, so now I'm going to take, and like I said, you need 8 of these. Okay, I'm going to use 4 for the center and 4 for the right hand side. Alright, so my 3 3/4 by 11 that I've scored at 1/2 and scored at 6 1/4. What I'm going to do, alright, fold it down, burnish it, and I like to flip mine over so my little 1/2 inch is here, and then my other score line here, I'm going to fold it together. So this is what it's going to look like. Okay, so I have 8 of these. I've already cut mine. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add glue here to the little 1/2 inch piece, but first I want to dry fit it. Okay, because I want to make sure that I'm not going to be going over either of my little seams here, my little score lines here. Alright, and I'm not going to. So this time you can start on the right or the left, whatever you want to do. But I'm going to start on the left hand side here. Alright, so I'm going to take my glue, add it to my little 1/2 inch piece here. Now, I'm going to go right on top of that 1/2 inch piece here. Okay, but remember, don't glue it on your extra little piece here. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Alright. So you just kind of want to center it up here. Make sure everything is straight. And press it down. Take your bone folder, burnish it down. Okay? And this is what I'm talking about. Alright, so here, let me see. Alright, so here you have that extra little score line there. You have this piece here. I don't know what you call this thing, y'all, and right now I'm kind of having a big fat brain fart. But, I don't know why it's not wanting to. Okay, but anyway, you don't want to glue on this side of your score line. Okay, you want to make sure that you glue on this side of the score line. Okay, now all I'm going to do, I'm going to take my next one. I'm going to glue it right on top on the right hand side of the flap that I just put in. Okay, so the flap I just put in, you're going to open here and then here. Okay, so I'm going to close it up. I'm going to add glue right here on my little 1/2 inch piece again. Okay, and I'm going right here to the edge on the right hand side of the flap that I just placed on. Okay, so I'm going to lay it down, making sure I get everything lined up. Okay, then I'm going to press it down. Okay, I'm going to open it up, and I see here I have some glue, so I'm just going to continue to open until I find that glue there. Alright, so now this is what we have. Alright, so now we have an open to the right, and then it's going to the left, and then you have this open. Okay, so I hope this is making sense, y'all, because this one is kind of hard to explain, but it is so super cute. Alright, now I'm going to take another one of my little flaps here. This time I'm going to glue it on the left hand side of the flap that I just glued down. Okay, so I just add my glue there, and now I'm going to the left hand side. I'm going to glue this right on top, making sure now you have everything lined up. Alright, when you have it where you want it, press it down and burnish. Okay, I'm going to open it up, make sure I get all that little glue wiped off. Okay, now I'm going to take another flap, another one of my pieces here, and now I'm going to add it to the right hand side. Add my glue to my little 1/2 inch piece. Okay, let me go a little closer to the edge here. Alright, now I'm going to the right hand side of the flap that I just glued on, right on top of it. Alright, making sure everything is straight. Okay, when you have it where you want it, press it down and burnish. Okay, now this is what you're going to have. Let me move this over here because I'm going to stand it up so you can see. Well, let me lay it down first. Alright, so you're going to open to the right and then flip out to the right. So then you're going to have, you know, this large space here. And then you're going to flip to the left and then back to the left. So then you'll have this space here. Okay, and then you'll flip it back to the right and then back to the right. You'll have this space. And then back to the left and back to the left, and then you'll have this space. Alright, once this is all decorated, I know it's pretty hard to see on the black, and I do apologize. But once it's decorated, and you'll see, you know, the finished album before you see the tutorial, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so now this is my center section, okay? And so this is what it's going to look like. So you're just going to have all kind of flips and flaps and everything else up in here. Alright. So, we're going to close it down and close it down. And I'm going to add magnets to hold mine. If you want to use, you know, a different type of closure, you go ahead. But I am going to use magnets. And okay, so what I've done is I have my two little magnets here, and I want to tell you too. Alright, I love to use the basic gray magnets, but as many of you know, I love magnets and I love to use magnets in my projects, but I also like to get my magnets overseas, and these are the ones that I get from overseas, and I will list in the description bar below where I get these. And the size of these are 10 times 1. Okay, so that's the size that I'm using today. I also like to get the 8 times 1, but I wanted to let you know that, you know, if you like to use magnets and you want to buy them, you know, in a large amount, I know they're not the same, and I know they're probably not as strong, but they do what I need them to do. Alright, so I'm just going to take my magnet here, place one on, add this little extra piece here so it'll catch. Okay, now I'm just going to close this up. Okay, and now I want to make sure now that I have my this flap here, I want to make sure that I have it straight with everything else, because that's going to be my closure. Alright, so I'm not going to pull it, you know, and press it down really hard. What I'm doing is I'm making sure that this is going to be, you know, nice and straight here. Alright. So I'm just going to press down. Alright, and then I'm going to add this tape right on top of here. Okay, so now this is my closure. Alright, and once I add my design paper here, then what I'm going to do is add glue to these two little sides, close it down, and then that'll be a pocket. Okay, now on to the right hand side here. Remember, I'm not doing anything to the left because that is my closure. So it's going to look like this. Okay, so my right hand side is what I'm working on now. And I'm going to do the same thing I done here. I'm going to add just one closure though. I'm not going to have two closures on the right hand side. So I need one of my pieces that was 3 3/4 by 8. Okay. Now I'm going to take, and I want to dry fit mine just to make sure that I get it right, because I don't want anything at all, you know, to go wrong. Because once you have it glued down, y'all, it's hard if you mess something up, because then either you have to start all over or you have to rip the thing apart, and then you know, pretty much messed it up. Okay, so now I'm going to place it. Alright, let me make sure. Hold on, I'm going to pause the video. Okay, y'all, so what I've done is I actually cut another piece just in case I need it. Alright, and if, you know, if I do use two on this side to make it exactly like this, then I'll let you know. Whenever I do the measurements in the description bar below, you'll see it'll say 4 instead of 3 of this size. Alright, so I'm going to take and add my art glitter glue right here to the 1/2 inch. And again, this piece is the 3 3/4 by 8. Okay, so I'm going to go right here on the right hand side to my edge. Alright, I'm not going to go all the way to the edge, but I am going to get pretty close. Okay. So, let's see how this works out here. Alright, I want to make sure it's straight. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this one to make sure I'm straight with these. Okay, when I have it where I want it, I'm going to press down and burnish. Okay, I'm going to open it up, just wipe that glue off. Okay, now let me check this out, because I don't want to tell y'all wrong, and I don't want to do it wrong, because I don't want everything to have to come out. But what I'm checking is I want to make sure that I have a closure, that my closure is going to be right here, because I don't want everything to fall out. Alright, so once I have this closed, alright, so yeah, we're going to have two closures on this side. So we're going to make this side the same exact as the middle. Okay, so I'm going to add my glue. Okay, now I'm going right here, and again, I'm going to close this up so I can see that seam. I'm not going all the way to the seam, but I am going pretty close. Okay, so I'm going to take it here. I'm going to close it up so I can see how close I am. Okay, and again, I'm checking to make sure that it's straight with this one. When I have it where I want it, I'm going to burnish it down. Alright, now I'm going to open it up, just wipe that glue right there off. Okay, now I'm going to take my 3 3/4 by 11 pieces here, and again, you're going to have 4 of these for the right hand side. Okay, I'm just going to take my glue, add it to my 1/2 inch piece. Now this time I'm going to go to the right hand side. I think the other one I done on the left, this one I'm going to do on the right. I'm going to start it here on the right. Okay, and again, you want to make sure now you don't go over those seams, those score lines. Okay, now I'm going to take my next one, I'm going to glue it right on top of this one, but I'm going to the left hand side. Okay. Alright, you want to make sure they're straight. Press down and burnish. And it's always good to open it up and make sure, you know, how that glue comes out there sometimes. Alright, now I'm going to take my next piece and glue right on top on the right hand side here. Okay, you want to make sure it's straight. When you have it where you want it, burnish it down. Alright, open it up and check, see that glue? Wipe that glue off. Okay, now I have one more I'm going to do here on the left hand side. Alright. And y'all, I really hope this video is making sense. I didn't do, you know, a practice one or whatever. I'm just kind of jumping in here. Alright, so now I'm going to open it up. Make sure I have no glue coming out there. And there we go. Again, I'm going to add a magnet. But this time, I want this side to be on top. I'm going to close that one down. Okay, so I'm going to add my magnet. The same as what I did here. And if y'all want to, y'all can skip my rambling and all this good stuff. But it's kind of hard, y'all. Sometimes, you know, doing tutorials and doing videos, it's kind of hard because we're actually sitting here and we're talking to ourselves. Of course, you know, we're talking to you, but like we kind of get confused, or I do anyway. And I know a couple of other ladies that do as well. It can get nervous or nerve-wracking. I get nervous really bad. But I enjoy crafting and I enjoy sharing. And so I kind of just fight my nerves and go with it. Alright, so same thing here, y'all. I'm just taking my magnet. Okay. And again, I'm going to make sure that my two sides are up and straight here. You know, because you don't want it, you know, flat like that. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, here, you want this piece to be straight. Just like this. Alright, you don't want it to be wonky and laying down like that, because when you glue it down, then it's going to stay like that. Or when you know, add your magnet, it'll stay like that. So make sure you have it nice and straight here. Okay, so I'm just going to take it, making sure everything is straight. Okay, then I'm going to press it down there. Alright, add my other piece on top, and there we go. Okay, so I want to show you something. Alright, I may or may not add little belly bands and little tuck spots in here. You know, I may just leave it just like this, where, you know, you just add your photos. Or, you know, you can have like little side pockets. You can have a little belly band. The stickers and the cut aparts and all of the little goodies that come with your collections, those would be perfect, you know, for an album like this. Because then you just kind of, you know, if you add a photo mat or your photo. Okay, let me find a photo here. Alright, I'm just going to grab this one. Of course, it's not cut down to size, but, alright, if you had a photo like this, okay, you just put it on here. After you cut it down, you know, you may have a little space here that you have a nice little cute snowman or reindeer or anything like that. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. Alright, these little snowmen here, I got these in a swap. And y'all, these are so super cute that I'm going to use these somewhere. And I'm not sure if I'm going to use them in this album or another album. But, like, if you have a photo, you know, and you cut it down, alright, say this is the size, then I have this much space here left that, you know, of course I have my decorative paper already on, or you may just want to add your photo and not even add design paper. But you'll have, you know, space here where you can add a little snowman. So then you'll have, you know, your snowman and then your little children. These are my two boys. But, you know, that's just kind of an idea. When you have space like this and you don't have pockets or belly bands or, you know, little tuck spots, stuff like that, always think about your stickers and your ephemera pieces, your chipboard pieces, or, you know, the little cut-aparts from your collection. And, you know, they'll make cute little add-ons to an album right beside the little photo. Okay, enough of me rambling. So this is it for the right and the middle side. Now I'm going to work on my 2 spine pieces here. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to have pockets on both of these. Okay, so now for your 2 spine pieces here, we're going to make pockets. And if you watch my last video, then this is kind of the same thing as what I'm going to do here. Alright, you're going to need 2 pieces that are 3 3/4 by 11. On your 11-inch side, you're going to score at 5 1/4 and 5 3/4. Okay, and I've got 2 of those. Okay, so I'm just going to fold down on my score lines here and burnish. Okay, and I want to make sure these are pretty straight. Alright, so now this is what you have. Okay, now all I'm going to do is I'm going to take some glue, and I'm going to glue this right here in the center of both of them. But first I want to add my pockets on here because I think it'll be easier to add the pocket here before I glue it down. Alright, so I'm going to take it, I'm going to open it up like this. Okay, then you're going to need 4 pieces that are 4 3/4 by 5. On your 4 3/4 side, you're going to score it a half, rotate, score it a half, rotate, score it a half. Okay, then we're going to take our scissors, we're going to notch out these little squares here at the bottom. Okay, and what this is going to do is it's going to help it lay, you know, a little flatter and not have so much bulk. Okay, so now I'm just going to take, fold, and burnish my score lines on all 3 sides. Okay, now I'm going to take my glue, and this is just a step that I like to do. You don't have to do this. It just makes it easier for me. I just like to glue down these little pieces here first. Okay, so now this is what I have. Alright, and I've already done 3 of mine here, and I'm going to use that same punch to punch out here. Okay, so I'm just kind of lining it up to where I want it. And if I get out of frame or make too much noise, I do apologize. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is, you see here, you have like these little flaps here. Alright. And when you go to add your design paper on the inside, sometimes it'll get caught up on that. So I just like to cut mine off. And again, this is just a step that I like to do. You do not have to do this. So I just take it and cut it. Okay. Now, alright, I'm going to take my piece here, and I have it opened up. Alright, to make sure that I get it right, I'm going to pre-fit it or dry fit. Alright, I'm going to dry fit. Alright, so this is how it's going to go in our album. Okay, we're going to glue this little 1/2-inch piece down in the center of our spine. Okay, so I know I want this pocket to go here, and then on this side I want this pocket. Okay, so now I'm just going to hold it like this, open it up, and that way I know I have it exactly right. Of course, you know, you can just lay them down and it's no big deal, but I want to make sure that I get it right. Look here, I just stuck glue underneath here. You want to make sure, if you do that, you want to make sure you get it out first. Okay, I'm just adding glue all the way around on all 3 sides here. Okay, and I'm not going to go over my score line, but again, I'm going to get kind of close. Okay, so you line it up, and then when you have it where you want it, press it down. Okay, you want to press it down really good here. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And I add my glue to all 3 sides. I'm going to take, and again, I'm not going over that score line, but I am going pretty close. Making sure I have it straight. I'm going to press it down and burnish. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing to my other piece, and then I'll be right back. Alright, so this is what you have. You see that glue? Just wipe it off. Again, y'all, it's going to dry clear if you're using the art glitter glue. Alright, so I'm going to glue my other one down, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now that I have both of those done, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to flip them over. Okay, because now I'm going to work on the inside of them. Okay, so for this, you're going to need 4 pieces that are 4 1/4 by 4 3/4. Okay, on your 4 3/4 side, you're going to score it a half, rotate, score it a half, rotate, score it a half. Then you're going to notch your little squares off here at the bottom. Okay. Then you're just going to fold down and burnish each one of your score lines. And I'm doing mine kind of quickly here. Alright, so then I'm going to take and glue these little flaps here. And again, you don't have to do this. This is just something that I like to do. Okay. And then I've also punched mine. So I already have my 4 done here. Okay, so now I'm just going to take them on the inside here, and I'm going to glue them down the same way as what I done the outside. Okay, and you see here I forgot to cut the little tips off here. That's not going to matter. It's no big deal. All right, so now I'm just going to take it, and again I'm going to my score line here, but I'm not going over. Okay, so I'm going just right above that score line. Alright. I want to make sure it's straight. And I'll press down and burnish. Okay, so you burnish that really well. Alright, now I'm going to add one to this side. So same thing. I'm going to add my glue to my little 1/2 inch pieces. Okay, and again, I'm not going to the score line, but I'm going right above it. Okay, when you have it where you want it, press it down and burnish. Okay, so you see here, I did not go all the way to my score line. So I have just a little space there. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to do the next one, and I'm going to do it the same way. Okay, so now that I have the outside and the inside of my little pocket flaps here, okay, you see here, the outside is longer than the inside ones. Alright, if you want to, you can make them all the same size. You can make them, you know, this be the outside and the long ones be the inside, however you want to do it. Okay, I just wanted to change mine up, you know, and just have them smaller on one side and larger on the other. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my album here. Alright, I'm going to work on this first spine piece here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my art glitter glue, and I want the larger ones, the longer pockets here on the outside. So I'm just going to take my art glitter glue, and if you want to, you can add score tape and glue here. It's totally up to you. Alright. What I'm going to do is I'm not going to go exactly in the center. I'm going to go a little bit to the left. Alright. And if you want to, y'all, you can measure this out. This is totally, you know, up to you. I'm not going to measure it out. I'm just going to kind of eyeball mine. And I'm just going to place it on here. Okay. And it may be straight. It may not be straight. So I'm going to lay it down. And what I'm doing is I'm making sure it's straight or even here. Okay. Then I'm just going to press it down and I'll burnish. Okay, so now I'm just going to stand it back up. Alright, and see here I have just a little bit of glue there, but that's no big deal. A little bit here, so I'm just going to take the edge of my bone folder here and just wipe that off. Again, I'm just going to lay it back down. I'm going to burnish it really, really well here. Okay, and like I said, you can use score tape and glue if you want to. That's totally up to you. Okay, so now this is what I have. I'm going to add clothespins here just to kind of help it, because I am going to move on here. Alright, so I'm just going to let that dry. I'm going to move over to my other little spine piece here. Okay, and for this one, alright, let's see here. I want to make sure now that I get it right. Okay, so this one I need to move to the left as well. Alright, so again, okay, I want the larger pocket on the outside, and that's just a personal preference, y'all. Like I said, you can make them all the same. You can, you know, add more or less, whatever you want to do. Okay, I've added glue here. Alright, now I'm going to go to the left again. Alright, so I'm not going to have, you know, normally if you put one to the right, you put one to the left, but when you're doing this, you want to put them both on the same. Alright, so again, I'm not going to measure mine. I'm just kind of eyeballing it here. Okay, and then I'm going to kind of lay this down a little bit so I can make sure that it's semi-straight. Okay, and then I'm just going to press it down here. Alright. I'm just going to turn it so I can just kind of eyeball it here. Yep. Okay, so now I'm just going to take my clothespins. I'm going to place them here and let this dry. Okay. And that's pretty much it, y'all. Like I said, you can add belly bands, you can add little pockets, you can add whatever you want to here. And I'm going to let this dry for a few minutes. And I'm going to cut papers here. That way, you know, you can see how to glue down these little pockets here, because I don't want to leave anything out for you. Alright, so I'm going to let this dry and I'm going to cut these pockets out. Okay, so now that the glue has dried on my little pockets here, my little spine piece pockets, alright, now what I want to do is I want to show you here that all we're going to do is just glue down this little flap to make it a little pocket. Okay, I've already cut my design paper here to size, and I'm just going to add my glue just right here on the back. And this is a Hot Buy paper pad from Michaels, and the name of this one is Safe Freeze, and I will show you that pack in just a second. Alright, but I'm just gonna place it on here. Okay, now all I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna take my glue and I'm just gonna run it up the sides here and fold it down, and that's gonna make me just a little pocket here. I'm sorry, I'm out of frame. Alright, so I'm just gonna wipe this glue off here on the edge. This come out. Okay, and there you go. Now you have a little pocket here. So this is your little pocket. And I want to show you too, a lot of collection packs come with little cut aparts like this, and these would be perfect for these little pockets like this. You know, you may have to trim them down some, like this one you'll have to trim down, but these will also make, you know, cute little additions to your pages like that. Alright, but anyway, that's how you're going to make your little pocket here. You're just going to add your design paper, then add glue to two sides, close it down, and that makes a pocket. Okay, y'all, so super cute, so super simple. And here is the paper pad that I'm using. It is Safe Freeze, and like I said, this is a Hot Buy pad from Michaels. It is 12 by 12. It has 48 sheets, and y'all, this paper is so super cute. Alright, so I want to thank everybody so much for watching.